Hold on 1 second, y'all. Boom, boom, boom. Can you hear me right now?
No.
So I can hear you. Hold on 1 second. Let me try to get this figured out. So, say something. Can't hear or see you. What the heck? All right, hold on a minute.
See, I can see and hear you. Huh. Yeah, I can't see you or hear you. Let's see if there's something else here that I can let's see. Let's see. Nope. On top, I see like there's two people here, but I don't see you. It has like an eyeball, like looking to the left, like two pairs of eyes. I don't know what that means, but it just brings up a list of like stats. Nothing.
Let me see real
Nothing
quick.
where I can see you. Let's see. Hold on. See if there's something on your side that you can transfer me to. Like pull up. You probably have the director screen up. If you do, see if there's a way
Yeah,
that maybe
so
you can throw me on the live side.
hold on.
Can you still hear me?
Hold on 1 second. Technology, yo. Yeah, so I can hear you and see you on my connection here, and then I can also see you on YouTube Live.
Yeah, I can hear you and see on my connection here. Then I can. Oh, really?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me go to YouTube and see how it looks.
What do you
Oh
see
yeah,
right
right.
now? Are you just blank on your
Yeah,
actual
yeah, yeah,
screen
yeah.
or what? Let's see if we can. Not sure how to get this figured out.
Oh yeah.
Video settings. Hold on. Maybe. Looks good. See now. Dang, I don't know.
Let's see. I don't know why it doesn't allow me to see you. Yeah, I don't know, man. All right. So, well, I'm looking at your YouTube right now, which is like a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
If anyone out there is looking at us, we're working this out. We're working this out. Just give it a second. If not, then we have to just try another day. But
Yeah, because I can't see anything on my end as far as the controls here for having you in here.
but I don't hear you. Let me give me a sec, give me a sec. Just I wonder if hold on, let me try one more thing. If not, then I'm just gonna have to get off. Hmm. Now there is another option for this. I know you got the OBS all set up, but we could do it another time because I want to do my Spider-Man interview with you. Through StreamYard. Let me turn this off. I'm actually hearing myself 10-second delays. Give me a sec, give me a sec. I want to see if I bring up my OBS, see if it does something. Oh, come on. OBS link. Thing.
Just when you think you got it all figured out. Technology. Enabled your own feed inside director's room. Fix this. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can do something here.
Oh, it's not it.
Is there hold on. Is there anything on your end that says enable director's mic and video? So I see your picture back.
Yeah. All right. So, hey Justin, I just had to try. I tried something else and see if I can link it, but it looks like I can't. So enjoy the night, man. Sorry, one of who's been watching us trying to get this together, but we wanted to kind of get this, rolling. So uh, enable action. Let's see.
Damn, yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything.
No. Okay. But yeah, man, wish I can get on. Again, everybody, sorry for messing up. But Justin's live here. My bad. But I hope he has a good night. He's gonna have some good spoilers out there, guys, with Spider-Man. And I'll be watching anyway. Okay. Next time we'll definitely get this going right. But in the meantime, enjoy Justin Green and his live tonight. All right, Justin.
Yeah.
Peace out, brother.
Deuce.
Peace.
Well, sorry about that, y'all. I'm not really sure what was going on there. I tried to do a little troubleshooting last night. Seemed like everything was working, but the day had a different plan. So it is what it is. Anyway, all that being said, y'all know what we're here for. We're here to talk about Spider-Man. Damn, Spider-Man Brand New Day hit theaters this past Thursday, technically. I went to go see it in the afternoon, blown the F away. Okay? Let me make sure that everything else is working on the feed that I got going right now. Okay. Yeah, so I was blown away by what I had seen. I was not really too trepidatious, honestly, going into it, just because of the fact is um, I've liked every Tom Holland Spider-Man iteration thus far, right? I was very confident that they were probably going to bring some dope things to Spider-Man. I was looking forward to seeing what was going to be happening with him and MJ and Ned. How's that storyline going to continue on? We see in the trailers, obviously, that he's dealing with some mutations in his powers and whatnot. And we already understand that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've talked about mutation a little bit here, a little bit there, some breadcrumbs, if you will, sprinkled. So, what are they going to do with all that, right? So, once again, full spoilers, y'all. Full spoilers. We getting into it. As I said before, I was blown away. This movie, is following those things that were set up before, the culmination of everything that, Peter Parker has lost, things that he's had to deal with, realizations that he's had to have in the previous films come to a head in this movie. He's now our neighborhood Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? We've been all waiting for this shit. We don't need no world-ending catastrophe to get everything jumped off. We just need the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? So we get that, but then we also get a little bit of his mutation. And much like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2, having some issues with his abilities and whatnot because of stress, sadness, things of that nature, this is kind of where his mutation starts to really like take hold. And he's truly becoming a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man where he can shoot the webs out of himself, shit like that, right? At the same time, he's dealing with that because of the stress of, not having Ned, not having MJ, things of this nature. We also have a villain on the rise. Who is this villain? We all know who it is. Well, maybe some of y'all out there didn't know who it was. I kind of figured it out just maybe halfway before they showed us who the villain actually was. And the reason was because of the trailer. Spoiled it for me. Jean Grey, that's it. Big ass spoiler, like I told you. It's a spoiler review. Jean Grey is the anti-hero villain of the movie. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But she's the one kind of orchestrating these jumps in situations, causing a bunch of havoc and everything like that all over the city for a very specific reason, which is a very righteous reason, if you will. Okay? So we got that to deal with. You know what I mean? Then on the other hand, we also have Spider-Man, just dealing with the everyday stuff. So let's get into this. The first thing I wanted to address right quick is the movie overall. Dustin Daniel Cretton, the director. I think that this man did a phenomenal job. And right now, Dustin Daniel Cretton, for me, is kind of sitting in that seat of the Russo brothers. And I'm gonna say that I say that because if you think about the way the Marvel Cinematic Universe was going prior to Winter Soldier, prior to Civil War, excuse me, we had some great installments, some cool looks, dope vibes, clean aesthetics, all that sort of stuff, nice story arcs, things of that nature. But when the Russo brothers came on and they did Winter Soldier, that shit I feel, right? And I didn't do my research, and by research I mean my Googles or my Chat GPTs, but I feel like it was Winter Soldier that whoever wasn't already on the Marvel bandwagon, whoever was still in their mind thinking, just a comic book movie, powers, shit like this, whatever. I feel like Winter Soldier was the movie that won them over, right? If you were someone, if someone was older, right? Your grandpa, your dad, whoever it was, and you're trying to say, come on, let's go check out this movie. They still might be like, I don't know. It's kind of kid shit. It's not cinema, right? Talking to you, Martin Scorsese. But when Winter Soldier came out, and that movie had a very 70s spy thriller vibe, you dig? And it has some real dope hand-to-hand combat. You dig? And it had some morals and values, those dilemmas like, what do we do? Yo, this is my homie right here. Am I going to save him? Am I going to turn him over? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Captain America, he stands for something, and the organization that he's been working for has been compromised. All these types of elements have been in our classic spy, espionage, thriller, Manchurian Candidate style movies. So you bringing these vibes into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with characters that we already know and love and we've already seen before, but now you're giving them a gravitas and you're grounding them into a reality, somewhat transcending a comic book movie, if you will, similar to the way that Christopher Nolan did it with his Batman trilogy, with his Dark Knight trilogy, right? I'm not saying it's on the same level. I'm just saying that it's kind of in that same vein, right? Then you go into Civil War, and same thing. You're kind of giving us a real ideology, a real understanding of the mentality from Tony Stark and his crew and Captain America and the cats that are riding with him. You dig what I'm saying? And that's what the Russo brothers did. And then you get Infinity War and Endgame, and the rest is history. Billions of dollars, okay? Great stuff, wonderful ensembles, pieces that all work together, legitimate fight scenes, dope aesthetics, the whole nine. You feel me? Now, for me, when Dustin Daniel Cretton first did Shang-Chi, I wasn't really feeling that movie. If you saw my review, I said that it was just like story points and certain things of that nature, really underdeveloped portions of that movie for me. But it wasn't his direction that was bad or Shang-Chi that was bad. It was just I wasn't feeling it because of that. With this, I feel like he hit it out the mother effing park, right? The way that he directs the action in this movie, phenomenal. You feel me? The way that he was able to showcase the story, the wondering if MJ will remember who Peter is. And again, we'll get into that in a minute. But the way that he directed all those ins and outs, the character moments between Peter Parker and Spider-Man and Frank Castle, you feel me? Between him and MJ, between him and Ned, between him and the police officer, the detective, the lead detective that he's working with, basically, throughout the film. Like the way that all of those things were intertwined throughout the story, and then what the story was and the narrative and how all those pieces just kind of fit right into place. For me, I thought that the direction around all that, top notch. The pacing around all that, top notch. This movie is like 2 hours and change. Definitely flew by for me. I could have sat there for a whole nother hour. Give me more Spider-Man. Love it, right? So, off the top, Dustin Daniel Cretton, crazy great direction in this outing. Now, as I said before, a couple of key things, some spoilers as it were, that I want to address. Let's talk performances, right? Tom Holland has been given great performances across all his films, especially the Spider-Man movies, right? This one, again, because of everything that we've seen him go through, I feel was where he really needed to bring his A game in regards to the levels of emotion, physical action and intensity and believability, and then kind of a bit of a leader, a big brother, if you will, right? It's no secret to most that, Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey in this movie, right? It was announced that Sadie Sink, redhead chick, she was in this movie a long time ago. There was a large amount of speculation, who's she gonna be playing? Most people's minds went straight to, she gotta be Jean Grey, obviously, come on, because she got red hair, right? Well, she fucking is. Now, as I said before, I try, for those of y'all out there who don't really follow my channel too much, I try to stay away from trailers as much as I can. I've seen a lot of movies, y'all feel me? So, I'm not saying I can predict the movie, but at the same time, I don't want even the littlest nugget of information that might make my brain go to a certain position. And usually when I go into the theater, I kind of just sit there and let my brain be a blank canvas and let the movie give me whatever it's going to give me. I ain't trying to solve the riddle before the movie wants to solve it for me. You feel me? That's just me. That being said, when I do hear certain things, here today, gone tomorrow. Doesn't really matter. However, with this movie, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Jean Grey is the catalyst for all the real shit that's jumping off. You feel me? So when we got, what is it? the department, the place that's like cleaning up. I can't remember the actual name of that facility. If you remember it, put it in the chat. I know I'm on a little bit of a delay here, right? But that department that is cleaning up all this destruction from superhero fights and shit like this, that department is up to some shady business, as you would imagine, right? And you kind of got the feeling for that in the very first Tom Holland Spider-Man No Way Home, where they're just gonna like step in and we already got people cleaning stuff up, they're handling it the right way, but they're gonna be like, we're gonna take it over from here. And they got guns with them and all that shit. Sounds shady to me. You feel me? So that being said, because Jean Grey's sister was taken, right? And basically tortured, trying to, they're trying to figure out how she has this abilities and if they can utilize it themselves and all that sort of stuff, right? That's pretty much where Sadie Sink's Jean Grey becomes the antagonist in the film, jumping from person to person in a very Fallen type way. If y'all have ever seen that movie with Denzel Washington, Fallen, super dope movie, right? Old school swag, early 90s, but as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh fuck, that shit reminds me of Fallen. So I like how they did that. They could have done it in a whole bunch of other different ways that might have been very showy, but I'm glad that it was kind of grounded in this way of like, just getting from one person to the next, right? I like how they put a jump limit on her where she can only jump to a certain extent or a certain point. You feel me? Giving her some restriction. Also, then that way, in the end of the movie, when she's finally forced, like physically, mentally, and emotionally, to become the Jean Grey that we know and how powerful we know her to be, we kind of see that come to fruition, which I thought was dope as fuck. But as I was saying, rambling on about how dope Jean Grey is. So in this movie, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, he has to be all these different things. He has to wear all these different hats. The love-struck hero that wishes he could be in this relationship. The person dealing with superpower mutations, wants to be in the relationship, but then realizes, maybe that life ain't for me. I got to leave it behind. Sacrifice, right? And then now, when he finally encounters Jean Grey and he's trying to talk her down, now he's got to be the big brother, the leader, the person speaking from a position of experience to her and saying, look, I know you've lost. I've lost too. And so they kind of meet on that, commonality. And I love how in the end of the movie that was done. It could have happened anyway where like he's just talking to her and she's like, oh yeah, I see your point or whatever. But the fact that she was trying to get into his mind before and he finally lets her in. And earlier when she was in there, she was like, yo, what was that shit that I just seen? And we kind of like revisit that in the end. Nice bookend. Perfect. Perfection, if you're asking me. Right? So I loved Jean Grey's introduction, mutant introduction. I loved the place in the community, like I said, that organization that cleans shit up, being run by that one dude. I looked up his name, forgot it, but the black dude that's running that organization, he's legit. First time I saw this guy was in Severance. Then I seen him in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and I heard, right, that Tom Cruise saw him in Severance and was like, yo, this guy is fire. I want him in Mission Impossible in like this particular capacity. And then boom, he's in there, and then now he's in here. And one thing that I love about this dude is the fact that he plays that line of like, remember you watch a movie and you'll see a dude and you're like, I know this guy's probably bad. He's probably gonna flip on our hero or something like that at some point in time, and he's gonna go rogue. He's gonna do something that he shouldn't be doing, and we're eventually gonna have to take his ass out. And usually those guys really play it up, like there's something about their personality where you can kind of call it out from a mile away, right? But this dude, he has that to him, right? Where you can kind of be like, he's kind of sinister the way he is, but you never really know. And there's something about the way that he is, his swag, right? His persona on screen. There's something about that the character that he's playing in this movie, it just fits very, very well. Like he'll lie to your face with a smile. And you know that no matter who he's about to hurt or what he's about to do to you and how far he's about to take it, right? Who he's about to murder, this man just don't give a fuck. All that matters is the task at hand, the job. You feel me? And so I love that. Um, So yeah, so all those things, the performance from Tom Holland, outstanding. Sadie Sink, her performance, dope as fuck as Jean, right? Again, I try to stay away from as much of that particular news as possible, but I heard rumblings, I heard the rumors, you feel me? And I'm very happy with what we got from Sadie Sink. Honestly, Famke Janssen, that played the original Jean Grey, great. I cannot remember off the top of my head the girl that played the new Jean Grey in the X-Men reboot, right? First Class moving forward, okay? She was alright, but those movies weren't really that good. The X-Men First Class, the first one, phenomenal. Days of Future Past, phenomenal. But the ones after that, not so much. So it is what it is. But I don't remember her name. But with Sadie Sink and what little bit we got from her and what they gave to her backstory about her sister being taken, basically experimented on, tortured until she died, and then her anger and frustration and trying to figure out, or actually, she didn't even know she's dead yet, but trying to figure out where she's at, trying to save her. All of that and the way that she played that into the end of the film, and again that conversation with Spider-Man, with Peter Parker, and them having that commonality of loss and realizing like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? I can't bring her back, so how am I going to move forward? Everything that Sadie Sink was doing on screen drew me into her playing Jean Grey. Like her eyes, her mannerisms, everything. I was so on board. So she did phenomenal. Um, let's talk John Bernthal, right? So John Bernthal, Punisher. I've heard some people say that they're really not happy with maybe how lightweight Punisher is in this movie. I mean, yes, it's a PG-13 movie. Yes, it's a Spider-Man movie. Yes, Spider-Man is, I wouldn't say Spider-Man's against murder, but he's not necessarily like out for murder, right? So he's definitely gonna try to pull some reins in. You feel me? It's the nature of the beast, right? It's just the way that it goes. You feel me? So for those people out there who maybe have an issue because, you know, certain characters aren't like as hard as they can possibly be, as they may be in the pages of the comics or certain other movies or outings, you know, did it really take you out of the movie? Did it really like make you not feel as like not have as much fun in the movie or as enjoyment with the film? I don't know. I mean, again, that's a you thing, subjective. But I thought what we know about Frank Castle and how intense we know him to be, the way that the movie portrayed him trying to do what he does and talking all that trash to Peter Parker and Spider-Man and, you know, acting gristled and the way that he is. And then again, in the way that it ends in the movie with him kind of being the father figure, big brother to Spider-Man, saving him, bringing him into the hospital. For me, knowing the type of person that Frank Castle is and the type of person that Punisher is and how relentless he could be, to see a fraction of that soft spot, it, to me, it kind of opens you up to who this person like really is. Like the reason I say that is because you'll see a character that is hard as fuck, like murderous. They don't give a fuck, right? But let's remember why they're that way. Okay? Batman is the way he is because he saw he saw his mom and dad get murdered in front of him. Frank Castle is that way because his whole family was murdered in front of him. So they're that way because at one point in time, they had big hearts. They loved a lot. They were loved a lot. And they lost all that. And they're angry. And they feel like they don't have anyone. Or they're so long into this superhero game, if you will, or this vigilante game, if you will, that even the people that they let in at one point in time have been taken from them as well. So for that person, they have a guard up. And because of that guard, they're hard as fuck. And because we're usually just watching their stories, specifically their stories, they stay hard as fuck, bricked up. You know what I'm saying? But when there is someone else's story and that other person's story goes a certain type of way, and they know that this person is good, they might shift a little bit of their emotions for just a fraction of a moment. They might let some of that guard down because they realized as Frank Castle accidentally shoots Spider-Man in this movie, almost kills him, right? Realizes, fuck, what have I done? I shot the kid. And maybe in his mind, that kind of sparks a memory of seeing his family get murked. You feel me? So again, that's just kind of where my mind goes in the movies when certain things go down, right? So I don't get super duper up in arms when a certain character is not exactly how they were written in this particular story over here or that particular story over there. I understand that they're going to adapt some things for the film. So I thought what we got from John Bernthal's Punisher was phenomenal. Now, I will also say this. I never actually watched all of the Punisher series or anything like that. I love me some John Bernthal, right? But I'm very busy. There's so many things to watch. I just didn't get around to it. So for some of you out there, maybe if you feel like he wasn't the same way that he was in the show versus the comics, I get it. You're gonna have to meet it in the middle, whatever. But again, I think he was great. John Bernthal was phenomenal, right? Let's see. Who else we got? Bruce Banner, Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. Thank you, Daniel Dustin Cretton, for bringing Hulk back, right? I understand when it comes to certain characters, like Superman, you got certain characters like Captain Marvel, right? Certain characters like the Hulk. Some characters are just too goddamn powerful. But it's really challenging for people to write a story for them that is engaging enough in a film setting. In a comic book run, you got a lot of different stuff going on. And in a comic book series, you can have a lot of wild ass elements to put those characters into that will give them a struggle or give them a challenge. But if you have a cinematic universe like Infinity War, and then right now the multiverse saga and all of that sort of stuff, or just even a one-off movie with certain characters, it's challenging to write for that character, because if you bring a certain villain in there that you want to move forward with, right, then okay, well, how's this villain going to do anything if this person shows up? Think about it. Look how powerful Captain Marvel is. And right now we got Sentry coming up, right? Thunderbolts. Y'all saw that shit. Sentry's like, okay, Captain Marvel status, basically, right? So you have these people that are so powerful. You're going to have to kind of handcuff them a little bit. You're going to have to neuter them a little bit. Now, should they have done Hawaiian shirt, picnic, barbecue with his son Hulk? Hell no. Hell no, they shouldn't have did that shit, right? But they did it. But now here we are, we catching up with Hulk, and he's fucking a professor. He's got the inhibitor and all that sort of stuff, which again, we'll get on that in a minute. But he's got his inhibitor, so he's pretty much in control of his situation, right? So I like being able to see Bruce living life, doing what he does, feeling like he can be a part of society and the community. And then when they show him in his class, you get the idea that he's probably like annoyed and frustrated from time to time that he's got such a brain up here and he's trying to educate the world in this community of students, and all they want to do is just ask about the same old fights and things that they've probably seen time and time again on YouTube or whatever the news feed is in this world, right? So when Peter Parker shows up, the great actor that Mark Ruffalo is playing this dude, you kind of feel that connection like instantly, like, man, these is homies right here. Kind of like when he was first hanging out with Tony Stark and they going wit for wit, right? So I thought that was great. I love to see Hulk or Bruce Banner in that situation. Then in the end, right, when you just hear the in the background, doof, doof, and you're kind of wondering, what the fuck is that? Like, what's going on? And then and and let me tell you this. When I'm listening, talking, and they're talking about like, like doof, doof in the background, and I'm thinking like, well, what is that? One of the things that I loved about this movie, right? One of the things that I loved about this movie was the same thing that I felt about Civil War and even Infinity War or Endgame. There were certain things that you knew from the trailer or you knew was going to be in those movies. But because those movies were so good and so well paced, and the story and the characters and everything that was going on was so engaging, you almost forget in Civil War. You're like, oh shit, Spider-Man's in this. We gotta go get Spider-Man. And then we go see Spider-Man, and it's like a breath of fresh air in an in an already phenomenal film. Up to that point, before Tony Stark goes against Spider-Man, you're like, fuck, man, I'm on board. Let's go. This movie's amazing, right? That's kind of how I felt in this movie, right? I saw Bruce. I'm happy with their interaction. That's all I needed. I'm good. You feel me? But then I was like, oh, wait, Hulk is supposed to be in this movie. And then we get the Hulk and Spider-Man fight. And then we get Punisher joining in. God damn, that was amazing, right? And it felt real. It felt grounded in what it was, right? I know we're talking about superheroes here, but it felt real. It felt grounded in what it was. It was dope to look at. The power sets, again, that we see from the Hulk. And just like that shockwave blowing Peter Parker, him smashing Peter Parker, Hulk smash, all that shit, like relentless, ruthless. You feel me? The nice little banter back and forth between Spider-Man and Punisher, talking about, hey, you don't really want to fight him though, dude. He's like, oh, okay, maybe I don't, right? Like, all of that was amazing to me. And it felt like Marvel of old. It felt like those ensemble set pieces from your Civil Wars, from your Infinity War, from your Winter Soldier, and all that sort of stuff, from the original Avengers movie, right? It felt like that. So happy to see that. And so happy to see Hulk be the way that he was, right? Another thing that I liked about that, well, I'm going into the plot. Hold on. We're still talking about performances. So we got Mark Ruffalo killed it as Hulk, Bruce Banner. That was dope. John Bernthal brought the emotion. He brought the intensity. His character and everything that he was doing, for me, made perfect sense. Love that shit, right? As I said before, Sadie Sink, Jean Grey, killed it. She was great. Cameos, Elena, I'm not mad. I love me some Florence Pugh. Okay. Do we really need her necessarily? I don't know, probably not. But given the fact of where we know that she's probably at and how she gets down with the get down and, you know, kind of meeting in the bathhouse, that's kind of a thing. Like, I feel like Russian mobsters and stuff like that, like usually we'll see him like meeting in the underbelly of a bathhouse or whatever like this. You know what I mean? And then also, I wasn't mad at her being in the water. Of course I'm not mad at her being in the water. But if you look at like Bad Boys 2, when Johnny Tapia is going to meet up with Gabrielle Union's character, they're out in the middle of the water. So she can't wear no microphones or any bugs or wires. You know, you can kind of see if she has a weapon and stuff like that. So I'm not mad at that whole situation. You feel me? I thought that her cameo was sprinkled enough throughout the movie and helped out enough to move what Peter Parker was trying to get done along. So I felt like that was cool. So always love to see Florence Pugh. She's great. I'm excited to see her moving forward, not just because you know, it's Florence Pugh, right? Beautiful woman, but because I like to see women kicking ass, and she kicks major ass. And I also like I like what she did in fucking Thunderbolts. You feel me? So we'll see where that goes. The new Avengers, we'll see what's up with that, right? So I'm excited to see all of that. And I also think that for me, like some people, there's like, I don't know how many people, again, I haven't been watching a whole bunch of other people's reviews, but there are people that say that they're a little disappointed or underwhelmed by this movie because this movie is just kind of setting up what's to come. Ooh, let me touch on that real quick. All right, let me transition a little bit to the plot and everything kind of moving through this movie, right? I would not say at all that in this movie they're only setting up what is to come. And I would definitely not say that in this movie they're setting up in a heavy-handed way at all what is to come. I would say hell no to that. And let me tell you why. So I wouldn't say that because for me, you have to think like we've been asking for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for some time, right? In Homecoming, he was dealing with the fallout to, you know, the weaponry and whatnot that was left behind, or the tech that was left behind from Infinity War. You feel me? So, am I tripping? Infinity War? Yeah, one of those, whatever. I can't remember because I remember Tony Stark was still alive, so I'm tripping. But he was dealing with that shit. So he's dealing with like big worldly stuff. but he's still kind of the neighborhood Spider-Man, but still figuring himself out. You feel me? In the second movie, it's way bigger. You got Mysterio and all this crazy shit. He's not even in New York. You dig? And then No Way Home, don't get me started on that. I love that movie, but multiverse type shit jumping off. You feel me? Big level stuff. Doctor Strange, all that, huge catalyst for that movie, right? In this movie, he is straight up city level, working with the police, okay, and helping people out. You dig? But because there is this person, Sadie Sink's Jean Grey, that's doing some shit, well, now he's got to take that person out. You feel me? But it's still street level ish, right? She's making jumps. There's not a big portal beaming into the space or whatever like that. You dig what I'm saying? So the point is we know that this organization that's cleaning up the messes from these big fights is going to take this tech. They're going to try to reverse engineer it, use it for their own good, as our government probably does. Every fucking government on the planet probably does that shit. If they were to find some real shit, they go reverse engineer it and they gonna cause some fucking mayhem. You know how shit goes. Okay, so that's not outside the realm of reality, right? So let's just say that this government agency does this and they're trying to reverse engineer it, but in reverse engineering it, they also got their ear to the street and they see people that have certain abilities. So they do some stuff with that and then they create this person going around causing a bunch of mayhem, and now Spider-Man's got to take him out. To me, that's not heavy-handed at all. That's legitimately showcasing one thing leads to another. Causality, if you will. I don't know if I'm using that phrase correctly, but A and B lead to C. You feel what I'm saying? So when we get there and then she just happens to have those powers, for me, that was a perfect way to introduce mutants. You feel me? From what we had, like I said, from back in the day, not even in Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but from what we had with Tobey Maguire. If he's going through a downtime in his life and he just doesn't have the abilities to be Spider-Man, his body's just like, you know, coming up short. He doesn't have his little sticky situation. He's not firing his little webs and whatnot. He's not being Spider-Man because his body is just like shut down hormonally. It won't allow him to do that. People are the same way. You know that, right? If you're stressed out and you're really going through some shit, your body is really not just going to respond in the way that you want it to respond sometimes, because your hormones and your emotions and everything like that are out of alignment. So this is his variation of that, right? So for them to show him, okay, he's getting a power upgrade. I ain't mad at that. Let's go. It's Spider-Man. Give me some power upgrade, right? For him to encounter someone else with powers of their own, I ain't mad at that. Let's go. He's our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's fighting crime, okay? So how else do you want him to introduce some people? How else do you want a cinematic universe to evolve? I think this way in this movie was very organic. You feel me? That's just my personal belief. I think this way was very organic. And I love how they showcased her even evolving even more into that power set at the end. When she's like, you know, in the chair, looks up and she sees that VMAX and realizes, oh fuck, they killed my sister. And this is where she died. And this is the last shit that she's seen. Like all those nuances leading into her becoming as powerful as she did and doing what she was able to do, sending out that shockwave, right? Freezing everybody. Like that was great. I personally, if you look at like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, if you look at was it Miss Marvel, like that movie, you look at a lot of the TV shows, look at the Loki TV show, look at WandaVision, you know what I'm saying? All these different types of things. Like, yeah, WandaVision was great. I watched WandaVision. It was dope. But if you look at a lot of these other shows, a lot of them are just literally training you. Look at Hawkeye, training you for the next Hawkeye. Okay. Look at the Marvels, training you for the next, you know, Captain Marvel type person. Okay. You could say that for those shows a lot. You have a bigger argument for that. But for this, I feel like this was just like narratively on point. Let's add this character. Let's add that character. Let's put this in here. Let's add that in here. And then what if this happens? And then transfer into that and you just mold it and shape it. And you just gave it a great through line with wonderful pacing and then emotion surrounding all those things. Let's not forget that a lot of those other movies where they are just like a trailer for the next movie and then a trailer for the next movie, you feel that way because there's no emotion tying you into what the fuck is jumping off in the very movie you're watching. But in this movie, for instance, when Jean Grey, we don't even realize that she's inhabiting the body of MJ. And then when Spider-Man goes to save MJ, and you think, oh, fuck, yeah, he's saving MJ. She's going to go with him. Maybe she feels something. You know, maybe she wants to feel that excitement, whatever, whatever. And they're on the rooftop. I ain't going to front, y'all. I got choked up in that moment. I got choked up in that moment when they kissed and all that and they're hugging. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm so happy for you guys. And then something just feels off, right? The camera pans around, you see her face, and you realize, oh, shit, damn. That level of emotion. If they were just gonna have Jean Grey go up in there and do what she does, throw a couple people here or there, transfer through a couple bodies and whatever, cause some mayhem and mischief and whatnot, you'd be like, okay. But because she was like that ruthless, again, think of Wolverine, think of Logan, think of Punisher, right? Think of characters like this who've been so burnt, so broken. They have such a lack of faith in humanity. And that's what a lot of the mutants have that until they meet Professor X and he's teaching them a different way to think, a different way to live, right? We're seeing that in this movie. Think about that for a second. If all that stuff didn't happen with her sister in the way that it did, right? And then she doesn't go through what she's going through trying to figure out and find out where her sister's at and what went down. And she's not that ruthless to play that type of a joke on him and play with this man's heart like that. Like, she don't give a fuck. She's like, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna do whatever, right? This bitch is a murderer, okay? Remember when Spider-Man is talking to her on the street? She's in that dude's body, like an old guy's body or whatever, and she walks back into the street, and then she pops out of his body, and all of a sudden this guy gets Meet Joe Blacked, boom, 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 hit by the car, right? She gets Final Destination. You could just die, and she's hit by the car. I'm sure this dude is dead. And if he's not dead, he's paralyzed. And if he ain't paralyzed, he got a broken hip. And if he got a broken hip, he'll probably hang himself because he can't walk. I don't know. Okay? The point is, she didn't give a fuck. And to me, when you're laying those breadcrumbs of her emotions and how she didn't care, you're not just showcasing a person that, yes, is going to be in movies in the future, but you're showcasing a person with a level of emotion that needs to be, I'm not going to say like controlled, right? Because they tried to showcase how Charles tried to control her in the other one, and you saw how that went, right? But I'm saying that she needs to understand that not all humans, not all normal people are bad. She feels like that now, but she needs to understand that all this negative that I'm doing is not going to bring my sister back, and not all people are as effed up as this dude right here trying to force me to do these jumps and shit sitting in this chair where he killed my sister before me, right? So again, I say all that to say that I don't feel at all that this movie is a trailer for what's to come. But I feel that this movie is showcasing a wonderfully told Spider-Man ground level story dealing with people and elements that will be in other iterations in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And because of the emotion and the connections that were made in this movie, when they hit in those other movies, it's going to mean more. One of the things that I've been saying for years since the end of Endgame was that Marvel should have just took a fucking break. You should have just took a break, only did Fantastic Four. You should have only did X-Men or something like that. You should have only did Blade, motherfucker. Okay, finally came out and said the Blade ain't gonna happen, goddammit. Or at least Mahershala Ali did. But they should have took a break. And I say that because as I'm watching a good handful of things after Endgame, a lot of those things don't have those initial nuggets and those initial breadcrumbs that made the fruition right? The conclusion and the arc throughout the Infinity Saga hits so hard. They don't have that. You feel me? But I feel that in this movie, this interaction between what Peter Parker is going through as a man and as Spider-Man, and what my bad, easily distracted this guy. What Peter Parker and Spider-Man are going through, right? And what Jean Grey is going through and trying to figure out, and what, you know, what we got with the Hulk, what we got with Punisher, and all that sort of stuff. I feel like those connections are going to mean so much more in the next movie, or the movie after that, and the movie after that. You feel me? Because it was made right here. So very, very happy with the narrative and the fact that this movie did not feel like a trailer for the next, that it held weight, it had gravity to it. And let's straight jump to the end too, right? With everything that was built throughout the film, I'm also so happy that they didn't just wrap everything up with a nice little bow, right? MJ tells Peter when she reads the letter, finally, like they gave everything. They gave us the kiss on the roof wasn't actually her, right? He saved her. They're talking, and there's like some smirks, and you can see a little bit of chemistry there in at Frank's place. Nothing came from it. You feel me? She found the letter. She read the letter. Didn't jog her memory in any way. She's like, I don't love you. I'm the girl that you wrote this letter to. I'm sure she loved you, right? Y'all probably have something really special, but I don't have those memories. Okay? Then they're hanging out at the apartment with Ned. And she's like, oh man, you guys really look like best friends. Even the fact that she's seeing them looking like best friends, drawing them, with him without his mask and all that sort of stuff. When he's leaving the apartment, and she's like, be careful, Peter. And she says his name as if it was from before. Still not showing us any true signs that she's finna remember everything and come back to him like that. So, do I want them to get back together? Fuck yes, I do. Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? Right? They're great, right? But I'm happy that they didn't, because it makes the movie more real. It gives it more verisimilitude. Like, think about what happened. Doctor Strange made a whole freaking potion number 9 or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And she'll remember this guy from nothing. So that's not going to just change in a couple of days, right? Might take a little bit of time. Now, in the end of the movie, when he does a little, you know, secret whatever handshake with Ned, it's very ambiguous. He says Peter, but he remembers MJ called him Peter. So was the handshake muscle memory? And he's assuming, oh shit, you're Spider-Man. But does he know that, oh shit, you're my Peter, you're my homie Peter from back in the day? I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe he do. So if you look at the glass half full, he remembers as Peter because of the handshake. If you're looking at the glass medium full to empty, then he just thinks, oh shit, this is actually Spider-Man. And now I'm about to be Spider-Man's homie. And we can start anew. A brand new day. Look at that. You know? So I don't know. But yeah, so everything throughout the movie was fucking phenomenal. I've been ranting for a cool minute now. I see y'all are hitting me up in the live chats. So you know, yeah, let me know what you think about the movie. Let me know. I know there's a little bit of a delay right now. Says still trying to get the live situation figured out where it could be like quick, fast, and a hurry, but my image will be looking good. Who was a standout performance for y'all? Let me look up in the chats and see if anybody is putting that out. Shady ain't the word. Everybody in the theater happy. 2:30 show. Oh snap! Was it subjectivities or subjective? Yeah, subjectivities talking about a 2:30 showing a.m. Damn, that sounds fun though. That sounds hella fun. You know what I mean? Everybody out there tired, but you're gonna wake up as soon as you see that Sony and that Marvel logo. Hell yeah, that's dope. I thought they did a great job during the Punisher and Spider-Man lexicon. Yep, I would agree. My homegirl Tamika in here. It was beautiful seeing the human side of the Punisher. Yes, it was. Like I say, I've said oftentimes that when someone doesn't believe in themselves, they don't believe that they're worth it, or they're trying to do something that seems impossible to accomplish, right? And then someone comes through for them. Someone says, you know what, you're worth it. You know what, you mean something. You know what, you're special, or whatever it is. Or you think that you're alone in the world. It's just you, a one-man army, like the Punisher. And then you realize there are some other people out there that got my back, that are fighting that good fight and will sacrifice everything just like me. You know what I'm saying? And so seeing that side of him was phenomenal. And just the look on his face in that moment of realization, loved it. Love that shit for real. Let's see here. Did you like the score? Subjectivities asked, did I like the score? Hell yeah. I thought the score was great. The other thing I liked too was like not just the score, but the end credits. I like, again, the first 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Love it. I love the standard issue Marvel end credits where they show kind of like, you know, some images of this, images of that, whatever, whatever. Loved it. But again, the score in this movie was great. It was grounded. It was cinematic. Okay. But I also like the end credits where it was just showing, you know, images from New York, right? I said in my review, like, New York is kind of a character in this movie. And showing the end of the movie, or at the end of the movie in the credits, showing images from New York just made you kind of feel there, kind of made you feel like in this world, in this space, which I think kind of, again, plays up on that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that we've been wanting for some time. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely like the score. That was great. Let me track down a little bit. No, I think the trailer come. No, I think it's a trailer of what's to come. So Tamika's saying she thinks it's a bit of a trailer of what's to come. Like I said, there's definitely things that are gonna come, but that's any movie. Like, I mean, think about it. Like, you watch any movie that you loved, any movie that you thought was great, any movie that could potentially stand alone. Look at the first Joker movie. I'm telling you right now, Todd Phillips, who directed that shit, Warner Brothers, who greenlit that shit, was not expecting that Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix to be $1 billion damn dollars. They still showed a Bruce Wayne in that movie. But were they gonna look how old Joker was in that movie compared to Bruce Wayne? What you gonna do with that? And then look at Joker Follow You Do. No Bruce Wayne. Well, I don't know. I didn't see that movie because it just looked like trash. And then I heard what it was actually like and I just didn't watch it. But the point is, any movie can be a trailer for another movie because you're in a world. You're in a world where things will happen. Things will happen over here. Things will happen over there. Right? And also the other thing too, real quick, while I'm just on that, is this movie a trailer for the next movie? Remember when they didn't make movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that had all the other characters in there? What did everyone say? Well, where's Captain America? Where's Thor at? If this is happening, shouldn't they be over there? Like, okay, if you wanted them in the fucking movie, and then now they put them in the movie, and now you're crying about them putting them in the movie. Well, which is it? Which is it? Right? You either want a trailer or you don't. Make up your goddamn mind. But I'm just playing. I'm playing. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, that's basically, like I said, top to bottom, phenomenal film. I'm glad. It looks like in the comments, a lot of y'all was really liking the movie quite a bit. A lot of y'all was feeling the acting, the score, the cinematography, and everything like this. Let me ask you this question right now. Again, I understand I'm on a delay, but I was talking to my guy Barry a while ago. I can't remember if we were talking about. I think we were talking about the Odyssey, and then towards the end of the Odyssey, we started talking about Dune and the next Avengers movie coming out and all that sort of stuff. And I think I'd referenced Martin Scorsese's quote talking about these movies are not cinema. Look, Thor: Love and Thunder, you can make an argument that it's not a type of cinema, right? I didn't care for that movie and how goofy it was and all that sort of stuff. And you can make an argument that it's not a type of cinema, okay? But again, There's different types. You have Endgame, Infinity War, and then you have like a Thor Love and Thunder, just as an example. This movie right here, the things that the characters are dealing with, the memories, the subconscious, right? The metamorphosis that are going on, the metaphors in general, the government, the guy kind of, hey, you know what, we're just trying to get some information, make sure you're good to come into the building, whatever, but then you're secretly gonna use it against me at some point in time. More than likely, you smiling through your teeth, but you ain't got nothing but negative intention. That's in a lot of movies that are considered top tier cinema. So yeah, this movie, definitely a great cinematic adventure at the theater for sure. I was gonna ask y'all something, but I freaking forgot what it was. Oh, so I think I did a poll on I put a poll in the I think in the top of the chat. Let me see if it actually the poll was asking like where would you rank the Spider-Mans? And like I said, I'm kind of new to this, y'all. So I have no idea where to go to stop the poll, but I guess just put it in the chat. Just tell me, where would you rank this particular iteration? Where would you rank this particular installment in the Tom Holland Spider-Man? This is the fourth movie. Where would you rank it? Where would y'all rank that? Oh, wait, right here. Let's see something. Let's see if, end poll. Okay, so I just ended the poll. So let me see if I could find where it tells me answers. Oh, boom. Hell yeah. Look at me learning. All right, so how does the Spider-Man rank? Wait, no. I don't know if it told me anything. It says 4 votes. It says number right now on the it says number 1 is 100%. So would y'all say this is the best one? Tom Holland made me a fan with the first film. Yep. Subjectives, yes, I would agree. Tom Holland, like I said in my review, Tom Holland might be my favorite Spider-Man. Oh, let me make sure my camera's actually charging. It doesn't die on me like it did the other day. Well, hopefully it works. Anyways, yeah, I think I love Tobey Maguire, but Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is, you know, he's definitely got that nerd appeal to him, but he's also kind of a very blank expression. Tobey, ain't nobody gonna give you one tear with the wide eyes like a Tobey Maguire, right? So he's dope. Okay. Andrew Garfield, dope. Maybe a little too cool for Spider-Man, you feel me? But still dope, right? But Tom Holland, I feel, is just so well-rounded. He can give you that swag, that cool. He's gonna give you the jokes and everything like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna give you a great look. And for me, a short king, I'm pretty sure Tom Holland's probably taller than me. I think he's probably like 5'8", 5'9", maybe, right? But it appears that all the women that like him in the movies are taller than him. So, you know, my wife is shorter than me, but if I wasn't married, he can give a guy like me some hope. So I'm not mad at that, right? So I love me some Tom Holland, right? But yeah, I do think that it's tough because this movie, like I just recently watched all 3 Spider-Mans again. You know, I'll be watching movies on my iPad when I'm at the gym, and I just recently watched all 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies again, and I'm like laughing out loud in the gym, like, oh man, I fucking forgot how funny this is. That first one with Michael Keaton, come the fuck on, man. Come the fuck on. Michael Keaton, that scene in that first one, this how like dope Michael Keaton is. When he's realizing, oh shit, like this motherfucker's Spider-Man, and he's taking my daughter to the dance. And he says, look, you're just gonna go in there, show her a good time, but not too good. And if you mention any of this shit to my daughter, any of this, I'm gonna kill you. Dead. Like, damn, like this motherfucker's not playing, right? So, so that type of shit is what makes me just like love everything that I've seen from this Spider-Man iteration. And it's like so much more than those other movies had an opportunity. It just is what it is, right? You could say a lot of people would argue that Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is up there in like the top 5, or maybe even, yeah, probably like top 5, top 3 potentially best comic book films of all time. And it is a phenomenal movie. Great rewatch. If you haven't seen it in a while, check it out. It's great. Action is dope as hell. But honestly, I might have to put kind of maybe any one of these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies above it, just for like the story arc, the character development, you know what I'm saying? The action, the effects, just everything that's what's going on, you know what I'm saying? The acting and the believability from a comedic standpoint to an action standpoint to everything. So I don't know. It's very challenging. It's very challenging. Recency bias, just because I just saw this movie on Thursday, maybe I would put I think I'd put this movie as number one in the Tom Holland pantheon of Spider-Man movies. I'd put this movie number one. And the reason, um, Toby was too fat. Subjectives said Toby was too fat. Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. Miles Morales is fucking dope. You know, I was getting off topic. What was I saying? Oh yeah, let me finish this real quick. So the reason why I'll say this movie might be my number one Tom Holland Spider-Man is because of the action, because of seeing him with kind of his mutated spider powers, the Punisher, Hulk, and Spider-Man fight as a whole, and then his interaction with Jean Grey. Like a lot of those things, including just the storylines and the story arcs and everything like that, a lot of those things are just so engaging, right? And so transcendent to like what the other films were, which was they had their jokes and they were serious, yes. You know what I'm saying? And the last movie for sure, No Way Home, was definitely more serious, but there was more opportunity for some jokes in there. But yeah, but this movie, I don't know, just hit different, right? For me, I might say that this movie was the Dark Knight of the Spider-Man quartet. Quartet means four, right? But yeah, so again, I withhold the right to change my opinion in, you know, the next couple times I watch these movies all together. But that's where I'm at right now. Now, back to what Subjective said, whereas Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man. I love Miles Morales, and I cannot wait for the third Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Cross the Spider-Verse, whatever they're gonna call it, to come out. I cannot wait for that movie. There was a time where I wanted Shamik Moore to maybe come into, you know, this universe and play the Spider-Man for real. I don't know anymore. After seeing him in A Spoonful of Chocolate, or whatever that movie was called by RZA, I don't know. Now, RZA's not the best director, so with a Miles Morales or with a Shamik Moore in the hands of the Russo brothers or in the hands of a Dustin Daniel Cretton, I feel like we could probably get more out of him because he can act, he's good, but just in that movie, I didn't believe, it's just me, I didn't believe any of his physicality. So in the cartoon, in the animated movie, phenomenal, amazing. How they come up with the aesthetic, how they know to make it look like this and shift like that, and the colors, and it's just so beautiful. That movie is so fucking phenomenal, and the story is legit too. Oh my god, those movies are great. Yo, if you're a Spider-Man fan right now, you are fucking eating good. I'm a crazy Batman fan. Look, I'm a crazy Batman fan. Wrong arm, tripping. Look, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I'm a crazy DC fan. James Gunn, come on, man, you better write this shit. It's not looking too hot right now. I don't know, but I just say that to say that, like, I love it all. I love all this shit. But when it comes to Spider-Man right now, if you are a Spider-Man fan and you got the original two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, there's some cool elements to the Spider-Man 3 from Tobey Maguire. You got the first Amazing Spider-Man. There's a couple of elements, you know, the relationship aspect maybe more so in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but there's still some great things with those guys. and then you have all the Tom Holland shit, and then you still have 2 fucking phenomenal Miles Morales Spider-Man movies, yo, we are eating good. If you're a Spider-Man fan, we eating good right now. Damn. So good. Let's see, I got someone up in here. Luke talking about darker and more serious vibes than previous trilogies. Yep. Yep. Definitely more darker and serious vibes. And personally, what I love about this Tom Holland Spider-Man outing or his like Spider-Man movies is that arc, right? You're Luke Kinder? You're 100% correct, my man. Like from the first one, from when we first are introduced to him in Civil War, he's goofy, he's a kid, he's having fun. He's like, "Oh man, I can't believe like what I'm doing. Look at this." Right? Then you get Infinity War, right? Then you get Endgame. Then you get No Way Home, or that was No Way Home was before that. But you're getting all these things and it leads into this movie. So all those things built up, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's definitely going to be darker. I love it. So yeah. So Tamika said number 1. She said this one was not her number 1 as well. Oh yeah. Anybody else in the chat, put it in right now. Where would you rank this Brand New Day amongst the other Tom Holland Spider-Mans? Here's the next question. Who is your Spider-Man? With characters like Batman, we get to choose, hey, who's our favorite Batman? You know what I'm saying? It's probably either going to be a Michael Keaton or a Christian Bale, or maybe a Ben Affleck. He didn't have as many opportunities, successful film opportunities, right? But he was pretty cool when we had an opportunity for him. But you get that question with him. You get that type of question with James Bond. Who's your favorite Bond? You know what I mean? Now we get to have that question with Spider-Man. Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Yeah, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. Who's it going to be? Right? There's an argument to be made for each. But there's really only one right answer. I'm playing. It's all subjective. It's all subjective. Now, now where do we think that Jean Grey and Spider-Man kind of fit moving forward? What do we think is going to happen with them? I have no idea. Again, I'm not really one to try to speculate too much unless I see something very specific. So, as far as I know now, Spider-Man is still the friendly neighborhood spider, and he's probably just trying to rekindle some type of relationship with Ned, like as a friend. And who knows, MJ knows that he's Spider-Man and knows that, okay, this guy once loved me, but I'm not memory-wise the same me, so we know he's probably going to go in that direction and try to do something with that, maybe moving forward. But do we think that he's going to be working real close hand in hand with the X-Men at some point in time? Do we think that he's getting a power increase in his abilities so that way he can be more of a contender with Doom or whoever else when Secret Wars eventually gets here? Like, what say y'all? Are y'all that steeped in the Doomsday and Secret War comic book knowledge? I'm not. So that's why I ask. I want to see what y'all say. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where that does go and what they do with Secret Wars and Doomsday and all that sort of stuff. I haven't even seen the teaser for Doomsday yet. Right? I'm trying to stay away from it. I'm sure that a couple of movies from now, I'm going to see it in the theater, but if I see a trailer, I'd rather see it in the theater because at least the trailer that I see in the theater is more than likely going to be only the teaser or just the first trailer. It's rare that I would see like multiple versions of a trailer outside of the theater. It just doesn't usually happen like that. Let's see here. I like when John said he was under voodoo shit. Yeah, that's hilarious. Subjectives said, I like when John said she used her voodoo shit. Yeah, and again, that was dope too. I do like how she used her voodoo shit, you know what I'm saying, to kind of control Bruce, right? And not necessarily control him, mentally through and through, but at least, get his inhibitor chip off. And that's what I forgot to mention earlier. That whole inhibitor chip situation, where in X Men 3 United, the original X Men crew, when they're trying to like solve the mutant problem, like I'm cool with them doing a story arc like that, where it's like, all right, we're gonna try to like cure these motherfuckers, right? But this again could be one of those breadcrumbs and one of those nuggets. Like we know Bruce wants to live his life, so if he creates this thing, and then we know that this issue is like fucking with Spider-Man and fucking with Peter Parker, so he's gonna create a way to, mute his mutation and his genes and to a certain extent and control them. And then now it gets into the hands of the wrong person. Organic to me, that flows for me. So so I like the seeing all of that sort of stuff, and how Jean was able to kind of like let Bruce off the leash, if you will. Who let the dogs out? My old man. It's an old ass reference, I know. My wife in here talking about who's your favorite MJ. She texted me like I didn't see it just now. She's funny. My favorite MJ, Zendaya, easily. I love Kirsten Dunst, but I feel like Kirsten Dunst, the way that they used her in those original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, is just typical damsel in distress swag, right? It's just what they used to do back in the day. Hey, there's a girl that he should probably be liking in the comics. It's MJ. We're gonna put her in here. She's doing this. She's doing that. And Kirsten Dunst is great. She's a great actress, right? You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, in those movies, what did she really do? I'm not saying that MJ and Zendaya does anything ultra specific and spectacular in these movies, but she's more funny in the different Tom Holland installments. She does help out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? She's not as much damsel in distress from my perspective, from what I'm thinking of right now. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really honestly just her comedic element and her sick, twisted way that she looks at things juxtaposed to Peter Parker. I just think that's hella cool. I think it's cute. I think it's fly. You know what I mean? And there's probably a subjective bias that I know that Tom Holland and Zendaya are really together, that I just like it more. I just feel like she does more. So Zendaya, she's gonna be my favorite. Tamika saying Jean Grey joins the X-Men and Spider-Man. Stays your friendly neighborhood spider. I could see that happening, of course, because X-Men is X-Men and Spider-Man is Spider-Man. But just like with the Avengers, Thor goes back to Asgard, but he still comes back down when everybody needs help. So they're gonna commingle. They're gonna work together again for sure. But yeah, I don't think Spider-Man would just dip out to Xavier's school for the gifted. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna get down with the get down like that. So essentially, Tamika, I believe that you are correct, but I do think that they're gonna work together in the future for sure. My girl, let's see here. Can we talk about Jean Grey's mind control at the end? Yes, if you're just joining us right now. We did address that, but we'll address it again. Let's just see, and how MJ be lying about her memories. Did anyone else catch Ned's board? Is he British? So I'm not understanding the is he British reference, but yeah, Jean Grey's mind control in the end. Are you talking about when she was on the island and in the chair and it, everybody was like fucking frozen? That shit was dope as fuck. Definitely very reminiscent of what Professor X did in Logan when he would have his like seizure type situations. Very reminiscent of that. And knowing in Logan that that was a certain type of situation that kind of killed a whole bunch of people. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the issues where like he had that type of seizure and it just like effed everybody up. Um, I wonder if that would come back around later down the line. You know what I'm saying? Where she couldn't control something or I don't know what. um, and how she was lying about her memories. Was she lying though? I don't think she was lying. I think she really doesn't have those memories for Peter. I don't think she really has those memories for Peter or for Spider-Man. Let's see. Power release. Sorry. Yeah, that power release was so if you think about in Deadpool when when Deadpool's going through when why am I blanking on Deadpool's name all of a sudden? Fuck. What's Deadpool's actual name? I'm not talking about the act Ryan Reynolds, but I'm saying like Wade. Whoa, Wade. Okay, so when Wade is getting tortured and all that sort of shit, and they gotta like put him in that like vacuum chamber or whatever, and his powers are manifested. So Jean already had the abilities of a telepath. She didn't necessarily have the abilities to move shit. If I'm not mistaken, being a telepath is like I can read your mind. I can kind of like maybe make you do some things mentally, but I can't actually move you. Like I can't move this object. But we know that Jean Grey has those types of abilities to like control objects and shit like that, right? So we're seeing her at like this level, and then when they start doing that shit to her, and her she just gets that angry, and then her brain and shit starts to grow and transform. That was that release of power of like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? So that's what that was. Um, to my recollection, to my understanding, that's what that was. And I thought it looked dope the way they did it too. Zendaya is really working hard at becoming a better actor. Subjective says Zendaya is working hard at becoming a better actor. I think I think Zendaya is a pretty dope ass actor, and the reason, and I say I think she's dope because of from what I've seen of her in Euphoria, Euphoria season 1 through season 3, Zendaya brought that shit. Oh my god, everybody on that show for me brought that shit. So I think she's already a phenomenal actress. And again, look at what she's doing in the Spider-Man movies versus Euphoria, right? Fuck, my camera died again. Hold on, y'all. It didn't really die. I think it just something wasn't connected properly. Give me a second. Let's see. So it's weird. Hold on. Roger that, and we're back. So it's weird. Like I'll have my camera plugged into a external power source, and then for whatever random reason, the little cable gets loose. So my bad, y'all. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better. Okay, so anyways, what were we talking about? Yeah, so Zendaya, I think she's a phenomenal actress. The difference between the character that she plays in Euphoria versus what she's playing in Spider-Man, polar opposites. I haven't seen the movie, but the role that she did in what was it? That tennis movie that she did. I know she's playing a very different type character in that movie too. Oh, and then a movie that I saw earlier this year that she was playing off of Robert Pattinson. Um, the what the fuck was that movie called? Damn it, I reviewed it. What was that movie called? With Robert Pattinson. I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden, but you know what I'm talking about, where they're about to go get married, and he finds out some crazy shit about her. She's way different in that movie too. So very vulnerable in that movie, and in the Spider-Man movies, she's very not so vulnerable, right? So yeah, I think she's a great actress. She's doing a whole lot of cool stuff. Um, let's see. Ayana, what's she talking about? My homegirl Ayana says, yes, and then MJ be holding her necklace. Ah, Ayana. Yes. Okay. Yes, catching that shit. I didn't even think about that first. I probably did in the moment, but later on, I'm probably here today, gone tomorrow. I didn't even think about that. Anna coming in hot with a little nugget of information. And if I'm not mistaken, when she held that little necklace, she had that little smirk, that little like this, right? Yeah, so maybe she does. Maybe she's starting to remember. Yeah. Maybe she's like, where did I get this necklace from? So yeah. Good catch on that one. Good catch on that one. Rachel talking about, I thought Emma Stone. I love me some Emma Stone. I love me some Emma Stone. She's great. Emma Stone was charming. Yep, she was a charming MJ. But I'd agree. I like Zendaya. I'd rank Zendaya, Emma Stone, Kirsten Dunst. Okay, I can see that. Yep, I can see that. Emma Stone is a phenomenal actress. Acting caliber, Emma Stone and Zendaya could go either way, but yeah, I didn't really think about Emma Stone. But Emma Stone played Gwen Stacy. She didn't play MJ. So technically you're wrong. Yes, I said it. You're wrong. But as a placeholder for MJ, I give it to you. I give it to you. um, keep your day job, Tamika said. Shut up. Let's see. Ayana, she said yes, and then MJ. Oh, I already read that. My bad. Well, I guess Emma Stone was Gwen. Yep, Gwen Stacy. My guy Darrell's up in here. The drama, boom. Thank you, my man. My cousin Darrell coming in hot. The movie I was thinking of with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson was The Drama, which was, I thought it was a phenomenal movie. Great, great movie. Awesome direction. Yeah. Ayana coming in hot with The Drama. When do you think they're going to bring in Tom Hardy? Ooh, so let's talk about that post-credit scene. For y'all that seen the movie, did you stay to the very end? I thought that post-credit scene was a waste because I don't think that in whatever movie may or may not be coming forward, I don't think they're actually going to show Ned's Spidey tracker and then show like, oh, there they go. You know what I mean? So I was assuming though, let's just say that I was assuming when they showed that and then they showed another Spider-Man, I thought that either A, for some reason, maybe it was, I don't want to say Tom Hardy's like Venom or Venom, but I thought it was like maybe some variation of Venom, right? Maybe from another multiverse or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? When he's wearing the black suit, maybe that was him and he's coming to Earth or some shit like that. Or maybe it's just another Spider-Man in general. I don't know. Or maybe the the tracker that they're showing, for all we know, it could be a different time. It's not like right now. Maybe it's a different time in the future, and Spider-Man is now in space. I don't know. I have no damn clue. But when are they going to bring Tom Hardy in? As far as I understand, Tom Hardy is not going to play Venom again. I think they closed that chapter, and they showcased Venom or the little symbiote kind of going into like the other universe or something like that. But I don't really know if they've done enough of the legwork to bring that actually into fruition. Based on where things are at now and how Kevin Feige is kind of running the ship, that little thing, you could just push it to the side and maybe Venom will come somewhere way far down the line. And then the other thing is too, is the fact that if we have, well, hold on, pause. I was about to say, we got a lot coming up with Doomsday and Secret Wars, but as far as I understand, with Secret Wars, you want everybody and their mama up in this piece. So that would probably be the time to bring in Tom Hardy's Venom, because you just need character after character after character, because a lot of people probably gonna get murked. So that might be when, Secret Wars might be when, Ayana, that they bring in Tom Hardy's Venom. Let's see, Tamika talking about, yeah, Jean Grey always had that power. She can always move things, but her sister was teaching her how to be more powerful one, telepathic. Yeah, she might have always had that power, but again, it's nice to see that she might not have been able to actually hone in on that power and use that power, right? And focus that energy correctly. So that's part of the fun, I think, of the X-Men and some of these superhero movies is where we kind of see these people coming into their own and owning their powers and their capabilities. I really like that. Mission movie reviews. My man Barry in the building. I tried to have my guy. Oh man, it would have been such a fun conversation with my guy Barry, but again, I'm trying to learn the technology, so we have to keep up with him in the chats. So he's talking about yep, post credit was not worth the wait, but it does make you wonder. Otherwise, the movie was incredible. Yes, I would definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Let's see here. So right now, because I'm watching, I'm watching. Like I said, I know I got a fat delay, right? So I'm watching the feed on my phone, and I can see right now my shit just went out. So ain't nothing happening. But I'm back up right now on the thing. So I know that makes sense for all the characters to come in. Yeah. So like I say, Secret Wars definitely makes sense for all those characters to come in. Yeah, so now the question is, right? Kind of addressed a whole bunch of all that sort of stuff. Now the question is, what do we think is going to make more money? Do we think, because Spider-Man is cleaning up. I'm not sure exactly how much it's made, but if I'm not mistaken, it probably had like over 100 million domestic in its box office just this weekend alone. So it's going to crush, no doubt. The last Spider-Man movie made 2 billion, if not close to 2 billion. So Avengers coming up, I would definitely not put it past the upcoming Avengers movie this year to clear 1.5, if not 2 billion. I personally think Spider-Man is going to clear 2 billion. You know what I'm saying? What about y'all? Do you think Spider-Man is going to just smash on the box office? You know what I'm saying? And do bigger numbers than Avengers? I don't really see that happening, actually. Honestly, I don't really see it making more money than Avengers. And the only reason I say that is because anybody that watches Spider-Man and enjoys it and likes it, or even if they didn't really enjoy it or like it, all the people that went to go see Spider-Man are for sure going to go see Avengers, right? But if there's anybody that isn't really maybe the biggest fan of Spider-Man for whatever reason, but they want to see Robert Downey Jr., they want to see Chris Evans coming back, and they want to see everything going on with the Fantastic Four and all these and Wakanda and all this other stuff, they definitely gonna add to that Avengers box office. So I definitely don't see Spider-Man necessarily making more money than Avengers, but I mean, fuck, Disney's about to be eating this fucking year, no doubt. God damn. Crazy shit. But but yeah, and again, regardless, again, I'm happy to see that most of y'all in the chats are enjoying the Tom Holland Spider-Man. It's always nice to be able to share what you like. Now, was there anything that didn't work for y'all? Let me ask y'all that real quick. Was there anything that didn't work for y'all? The only thing, I'm not gonna say it didn't work for me, but just the only thing that stood out for me from making this movie, like, I'm not even gonna say like, I think this movie, I'm an easy sell, y'all. I'm an easy sell. Okay. If I had a freaking boatload of fun, I'll throw out a lot of like, oh man, that movie was perfection. It was this and it was that. And I might not mean legitimate perfection. Nothing is going to be perfect, but it's going to be goddamn close. And I felt like this movie was right there. But the one thing that was interesting was, as I said before, Jean Grey, a murderer, basically, when she took over that dude's body, right? And then she like backed him up in the truck. I mean, she was murdering people in that goddamn tank. Guaranteed people died, okay? But the point is like when she backed up into the street with that guy's body, popped out his brain, you know what I'm saying? And then he gets hit by that car, and then Spider-Man just goes off chasing her, didn't check on that dude. I was like, you ain't gonna go back and check on homie? That was the only thing I was like, okay, that was a little awkward, whatever. And then there was that scene when Spider-Man was meeting up with Yelena, and he has his mask on still. Something about his neck looked a little like digital. You know what I mean? It didn't necessarily look like he was wearing like a legitimate mask and just getting in the water. So that, I was like, I kind of noticed that. I'm nitpicking, y'all. I am nitpicking, y'all. I'm nitpicking this shit. But those are the only two things where I was like, I noticed it. Not helping that dude, not checking on him, and then his neck looked a little digital. Other than that, I thought this movie was goddamn perfect. So, but what about y'all? Was there anything for you that you felt could have been done a little bit different or didn't really work for y'all? Let me know. Um, Subjectives. Let's see. Any thoughts on how the MCU uses conspiracy theories in their next movie's narrative? How the MCU uses conspiracy theories, like our conspiracy theories, as to where things may or may not go. Is that what you mean? I think they needed to give. What does that say? Liza? Liza Cohen. I don't know who that is. More screen time? I'm not sure who. What character was that? Liza Colon? Colon? Zanus? I'm not sure who that is. Let me know who that is, so I could speak to that. That makes sense for all the characters being in it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what type of conspiracy theories that they may or may not put into the next movies. I mean, that's also another thing that's interesting is like after this, we're straight getting like the end. For me, someone who hasn't necessarily kept up with all the Marvel shows, and I haven't kept, the only thing I've kept up with is Deadpool. Saw Fantastic Four, I enjoyed it. Thunderbolts, I own it, and of course Spider-Man. I watched WandaVision, loved it. I did see Falcon and Winter Soldier, enjoyed it. What else did I see? I think that's pretty much it. Other than that, I ain't kept up with a whole Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which I didn't care for that movie. But for the most part, I haven't kept up with any other stuff. So for me, this Doomsday feels like it's here. Doom, he's here. It is what it is. So we'll see what they're going to put into that. 927 million globally this weekend. Tamika put in talking about 927 million globally. Is that even possible? It might be, because if people are watching, Tamika says that's how much is bringing in globally, which is bonkers. But if they do have overnight showings like they did back in the day for like the original Avengers, you know what I'm saying? Those types of movies. If my guy is seeing this movie at 2:30 in the a.m., people seeing it at midnight or 7 in the morning and all day, I could see that globally pulling that type of money. Hell yeah. And again, who doesn't love Spider-Man? Spider-Man is phenomenal, right? Spider-Man is phenomenal. I'm not putting them in this order. I don't know well, Batman is my number one. I don't give a fuck what you say. Batman is my number one, okay? But Batman, Spider-Man, blanket. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman are definitely up there on my list as far as like, my top three. Captain America, right? Captain America, Spider-Man are my favorite out of the MCU because of what they represent, who they are, their swag, the actors that are playing them, just all that sort of stuff. So again, who does not love Spider-Man? If you don't like Spider-Man, come on, man. If you don't like Spider-Man, I know it's all subjective, but realistically, something's wrong with you if you don't like Spider-Man. Yeah, the people said that were sitting behind me in the movie theater. Tamika, you can't always trust the hearsay. The people that were sitting behind you in the movie theater, you got to vet their sources, trying to figure out every character. Oh, wait, she's talking about something else. Figure out every character they were in there. Oh, yeah, I do like, also, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the Hand, which was like that ninja gang or that ninja crew that was fighting him. But I loved that fight sequence with the Hand, right? I'm sure that a lot of people thought they were going to be in it a lot more based on what the trailers made it look like. But that shit was super fly. And I don't know all the other people that were in or characters that were in the beginning, that montage, right? There's that dude with like those like sharp teeth and everything. Maybe his name was Lockjaw. I can't remember. But that was really cool just to kind of see like, hey, Spider-Man's been cleaning shit up. He's dealing with some other characters. That in and of itself is something that can showcase what can happen moving forward. So I thought that was dope. Yeah. Was there any characters that y'all saw in the beginning of Spider-Man that you're looking forward to seeing in some other Spider-Man movies if we get them? What y'all think about that? Oh, okay. Subjectives is telling me the cop. Yeah, she was dope. I really liked her. What did you say her name was? Hold on, let me track back a little bit. Uh, duh, 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 duh. Yeah. I forgot what you said her name was. But yeah, that cop, she was dope. I loved her. I loved how like that character stuff. Like we didn't have to see her and her kids and her doing her thing, you know what I'm saying? Or her the way that she was like kind of taking care of him reminded me very much so. A lot of this movie, let me tell you this, and I'm not mad at all. I welcome it. A lot of this movie reminded me of a Batman Beyond, Batman in general, mixed in with Spider-Man. Batman Beyond because of the that futuristic Batman tech that like Peter Parker has, right? Because of Iron Man, obviously, and Edith and all that sort of shit. And then you got his connection with the cop, right? That female, that lead female detective or captain or whatever she plays, right? So that was like the Commissioner Gordon aspect of it. And I am not mad at that at all. I loved it, right? If Peter Parker's going to keep his ear to the street and needs to see what's going on, let's go. I'm here for that. So yeah, I do think she was great. But again, based on what the story was, I would have loved to see more of her because I thought she was awesome. I thought she was a great actress, right? I like seeing her and the way that she interacted with Spider-Man. But if they gave us more of her, maybe it would have been a little bit too much. So I thought that again, I felt like everybody was paced just right in the movie. And if we want more of that person, that's good. I'd rather you tell me subjectives. If you're not upset with how little you got of her, but you still would have appreciated more of her, then I feel like the movie did its job. Sometimes we need more of something because they didn't give us enough. But then sometimes we want more of it because they gave us greatness and we just want more of it. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like that's kind of how I felt with her. I could have definitely took more of her, but I'm happy with what we got for sure. Um, my cousin Darrell says the Loki show was worth watching. I've heard that. I've heard that the Loki show is great, and I love me some Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is great. I don't know if I'll get around to it, but maybe. You know what I'm saying? I work out every day, so if I throw it on there on that Disney Plus on my iPad, that's how I watch WandaVision, and I was still captivated. I still paused my workout from time to time and was like, "What's about to happen?" You know what I'm saying? So shit was good. Yeah. So right now, we talked about this movie. We put in our 2 cents and all of that. I'm very appreciative. As I said before, I'm very appreciative for all of y'all chiming in. I'm trying to build the channel. I'm trying to build the community. So I appreciate you taking out your time on a Sunday evening. I'm sure there's dope shows and things like that that you could be watching. And hey, for all I know, you got me in one ear and you're watching the show on the with the other. Whatever. I don't know. But I'm again very appreciative that you're all chiming in and chopping it up a little bit and hearing me talk about this movie and whatnot. But I would definitely reading the chat. Subjective is like, yeah, no, you're right. Okay, yeah, cool, cool. But yeah, like I said, I'm very appreciative. I thank you for chiming in and chilling with your homie for a little while. Like I said, I'm gonna give you my spoiler-free type reviews, unless the movie's trash. I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of it on Fridays. So you'll see those Friday mornings. Come back Sundays. I'm gonna make this a regular thing. If there's a movie for whatever reason that like I'm not able to get to in the theater, or there's nothing out that I'm like that's worth me sacrificing time with my family and things of that nature that I'm gonna go out and see, or that's brand new or whatever, I'll probably be talking about something, right? Whether it be like a streaming movie or a show or something like that, or something in movie news. So I'm gonna try to be as consistent as possible. 8 o'clock Sunday evenings. I would also like to do other times, but for right now, 8 o'clock Sunday evenings is the most realistic time that I can be consistent. So I'd appreciate y'all, and I would welcome y'all back every Sunday, so then that way we can continue to build this community. And if you know people that are interested and they want to chime in and they want to say some stuff, or they completely disagree or they agree, it don't matter. We're all a film fan community here. Everybody is welcome, whether you agree or you don't agree. But we're gonna be kind to each other. We're gonna be nice to each other. You feel me? Hell yeah. So that being said, I'm gonna say good night. It's time for me to go get some grub, make sure I'm ready for work tomorrow. I hope y'all are safe throughout the entire week. I cannot remember what comes out this upcoming week, but I'm sure something dope comes out this upcoming week. So stay tuned to the channel. Look out for my review. That being said, I'ma holla at y'all. Your homie, Jay Green. I'm out.